Welcome back to Stratum Nutrition's Ingredients for Success podcast. I'm Andrew Rice.
And I'm Jackie Rizzo.
Today we have Diana Morgan with CareOf, and we're just going to be chatting with her a little bit about things within the industry, mentoring, and some points that she has for some other either younger industry professionals or other professionals within her role. So Diana, thanks for coming on.
Hi, Andrew. Hi, Jackie. Very nice to be here. Hope you guys are all doing well.
Yeah, doing great. How about you? Good?
I can't complain. Life is pretty good. Things are opening up here in Jersey. The gyms are open, so I'm good.
Good.
That's good.
Awesome to hear. My first question for you actually is, you had mentioned wearing a Regulators t-shirt, and I was wondering where your Regulators t-shirt is.
Yes.
You know, that is my favorite t-shirt ever. I felt, you might not be able to fully see it, but if anyone knows old school rap, the Regulate song from Warren G.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you need to bring some excitement to regulatory. So I always refer to myself as a regulator and bring an old school hip hop to it.
I love it.
I do too.
I love it. That's one of those songs I feel like that everybody, if you remember, if you're old enough to remember the song, I think you can always it's one of those songs that I can put myself in the different places that I was as, maybe lean back in the seat a little bit, cruising by the high school with the music blaring, whatever. So love that. So yeah, and love the fact that you're trying to bring some creativity and some fun to regulatory. So
yeah, just because we're a compliance function doesn't mean we need to be boring and not creative. So want to spread that.
Preach. I love it. I love it. All right. So I kind of stumbled myself I stumbled into the industry. It wasn't something that I got a degree and went straight into it. I actually was in the agency world for a very long time, the ad agency world. Had taken a VP position down in Fayetteville, Arkansas, which is about an hour and a half-ish away from us. And I was doing some consulting for Stratum at the time and had just passed on some strategy. And I was on my way back, driving home, and Michael gave me a call and was like, hey, so we love this thing, but would you come on board? Would you take a position with Stratum? And at that, but before that point, I hadn't really thought. I'd taken supplements. Loved the industry, just never had been involved with it. Even inside the agency world, I really never had an opportunity. So that's where I was, and I remember kind of all of those things about that surrounded me coming inside of into the industry. But where were you and how did you get started in the industry, Diana?
Yeah, so I think it actually started at a really early age. So probably when I was in elementary school, I remember my dad lifting weights in the attic, drinking a Joe Weider protein shake, and then washing it down with a huge Solgar VM75 multivitamin. And that was just his lifestyle. And, he would read his muscle and fitness magazines while, in between working out. And I just love that lifestyle. And then it wasn't until, I was going for my bachelor's in nutrition that, the typical path of someone doing that at that time was you get your bachelor's, you get your RD, and then you work in a hospital or nursing home. And I realized, I really didn't want to do that clinical aspect of it. And so while I was going for my bachelor's, I actually was doing sales for a very small dietary supplement company where I would go to work in the morning, take a really long lunch break, and then go take some classes at my school, which was about 10 minutes up the block, and then come back after taking 2 classes to work, and then finish my workday. And then at that time, I got exposure to my very first Expo West. And if anyone's ever been to Expo West, it is the most unbelievable trade show. There's the power, the energy. Everyone at the trade show just gives off this love for the industry. And I knew at that time when I was at that trade show, this was my home, this is where I meant to be. And I've just never looked back. It's been about 15 years in the industry now. And I've worked for so many different dietary supplement companies with their either sales or technical services or product development or regulatory. And it's just, I'm never leaving the industry.
I agree. Yeah, thanks for that, Diana. I remember my first expo, and it is different. You know, I've been to several trade shows, and the environment and the people, how inviting, and you know, you're a little bit nervous when you're going to one of those things, even if you've got experience, you know, in the business world or inside the industry. It's just a little bit nerve-wracking because of how big it is. But everybody is warm and inviting and friendly and not afraid to answer questions and ask questions. So yeah, I agree. I think it's that's pretty cool. So, and you've done a lot. I mean, you've done a lot. We've science and regulatory and sales, and I mean, you've done a lot as far as roles are concerned.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why I just love all these trade shows because everyone is so passionate about the industry and just love talking about SUPs. I could talk about SUPs all day long, and
Right.
just because I just love them, I love what they do for your body. I love the great benefits you can get from taking supplements and just really enhancing your overall health. Even if it's a fitness program or if you're, looking to reduce your stress or helping you sleep better. There's just so many awesome products, and now we're in such a great state where there's these really cool forms too, right? So you have all the gummies, you have all these cool conventional forms, and now we're at this other crossroad where we're seeing the convergence of functional foods and dietary supplements. So like there's that cool aspect of the industry, and it just keeps evolving and keeps getting better and better. So I just love, any piece of it I can get my hands on.
Diana, we also know that you have a passion for mentoring young professionals. So it's not just a passion for what the supplements do for your body, but also helping young professionals. And one way you've done that is through this new networking event called What's Up with SUPs. Can you tell us some things that you would tell young professionals coming into the industry?
Yeah, so I love helping develop new talent, and especially those that are passionate about staying in this industry. I had really amazing mentors throughout my career, and they've helped develop me, help grow me, and I just really want to pay that forward to the younger talent. So what the What's Up with Sups networking event was, since we've all been cooped up in the house for, the past 6 months, I thought, we as an industry really thrive on seeing each other and having that personal connection. And the first What's Up with Subs networking event took place in northern New Jersey about a month ago, and it was a great success. It was outdoors, socially distanced. People had masks on. We kept it pretty small to ensure we took adequate precautions to ensure everyone's health and safety. But it was an overall success. And part of the mission of the What's Up with Subs networking event is not just for old industry colleagues to connect with each other, but also to make new connections and also to develop talent and bring those that are even interested in the industry to some of these networking events to meet key players in the industry so they can get that experience, so they can have someone that they can lean upon if they, not necessarily even looking for a job, but just are looking for guidance on, oh, so what should I do in this situation where I have this awesome ingredient and I'm not sure if it's an NDI or not. So just having someone to bounce all of those questions off of is really great. Someone that has seasoned knowledge and can just really help you on so many different levels. And I think mentors are the most important for your career. So there's, a few different types. You have like a mentor, and then you have a sponsor, and then you have, like your cheerleaders, the ones that will always be there for you and just really helping to, lift you up. So, I just want to really encourage that unity of the industry and, just supporting one another.
Yeah, I love that. I think when I was younger, it was much more difficult for me, for my personality, to ask for help. It was like, I know everything, and but so some of us are a lot harder headed than others when it comes to that. But I think one of the most valuable things I have experienced in my professional career is realizing I need those mentors in my life, both from a professional and personal perspective, and you can just grow so much more exponentially when you have that seasoned experience and those people in your corner and those cheerleaders that are rooting for you, and they're behind you, and they know that they've got your best interest in mind. It's just it's a great feeling. So yeah, that's thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, the Beatles said it right. We can all use a little help from our friends.
That is so true.
So true. So
It's
true.
so true. Yeah, it's hard to do this life alone for sure, and walk this path.
Yep.
As we've discussed before, we are a big fan of CareOf, so much so we put CareOf, the customer experience, what you all do, in one of our white papers. Mm-hmm. Can you briefly share with us about CareOf and just that process of how you all ensure that people are getting exactly what they need?
Yeah, so for some of you guys that aren't familiar, CareOf is a direct-to-consumer personalized nutrition company that makes these convenient packs that you could take with you, and basically contains everything that you need based off of an online quiz where we ask you questions about your diet, lifestyle, health goals, and then based off of that, taking into consideration clear and competent, reliable science, we will provide you recommendations on what you need for your personal goals. So part of the consumer experience doesn't just stop after you take the quiz and we give you your recommendations and you get your packs, which come in a monthly dispenser. So that's one way that you can have everything you need with you. You take it with you, you pop it in your gym bag, in your purse, on your way to work. And that way it helps you to remember to always take them. On top of that, we do have another piece in the consumer experience through our app. And with the app, we provide some additional guidance, and we also provide you reminders to take your supplements. So I'll just quickly show you my app, and you could set these reminders for a daily basis, and it'll have a little pop-up on your phone, remember to take your vitamins, and for some reason, if you don't take your vitamins for a few days, it'll then send you another gentle reminder that you haven't taken them in a few days. So every time you take your vitamins, you can log in to the CareOf app, and this is basically what the home screen looks like. You guys can see it. I just tap here that I took my vitamins. This is everything that's in my pack. I tap, and then here at the top, you'll see a little carrot. So every time you log that you've taken your vitamins for the day, you'll earn something called CareOf carrots. Now, CareOf carrots can actually be redeemed for either merchandise, free product, or even if you get a lot of CareOf carrots, it could be a Peloton bike. So that type of positive reinforcement will help people be more compliant with taking their supplements, because we all like to get things additional, right? So you go to all these different stores and they ask you if you want to be part of their rewards program, and it's nice to get something back for doing something good for yourself. And I always say that you can have the best supplement in the world, the most expensive supplement in the world with the best research, but if you don't take it on a daily basis, you're not going to get the best results. So part of the ultimate customer experience and seeing the results is remembering to take your pack consistently. So on top of having the reminders for the pack, we also have a constant feedback loop with our customer experience team, where we'll frequently check in with customers, whether it's via email, phone, and we even have a cool text option because everyone likes texts. It's really hard to actually pick up the phone today for some reason. So people respond more to texts than they actually do to phone calls. So we do like to text our customers and just check in with them, and even encourage them at different stages in their life to retake the quiz, because, say you're pregnant, and then, after, a few years later, you're going through a different stage in your life, you're no longer needing all those extra nutrients, you'd want to retake the quiz and then just get reassessed for what your body needs.
Yeah, I think that's great. I was wondering how that worked, when the seasons of life change. But it's really interesting to have it or hear about a company who actually continues to check in with their customers to make sure that they're okay. And I love that you were talking about just that, the app and the consistent basis, because if it's not consistent, well, it's not going to be beneficial, and it's not going to become that habit that we all need.
I was curious about how many packs I needed to take to get the Peloton. That's all I really heard was like Peloton. So maybe I'll talk with you after. We can work out some math. You're probably much better at the math than I am. So figure out some math on how many of those things do I need to double up or something?
No, double up.
So anyway, so we've talked a little bit about mentoring others. We've talked about specifically mentoring those within our industry and our space. What advice would you have specific to somebody else within a similar role as yours?
Yeah, so I would say the key things that I would like up-and-comers to know for the regulatory area is, first and foremost, to be a friend of the business. So, so many times I've seen, marketers and regulatory just butt heads because they almost feel like you're a blocker to making awesome claims or awesome products. And that's not how it should be at all. So the way I like to pride myself on being a regulator is working directly with the business, because we want to make awesome products, and we want to sell awesome products because we know they're really good. So what I really encourage is having that dialogue with the business, but also seeing it from a business lens, not seeing, okay, I need to go into the CFR and it says this, and this. Well, it might say this, and this, but the regulatory framework has a lot of gray area, and that's a key area that the awesome regulators need to play in. We need to be able to weave in and out of that gray area, and that's what separates a regulatory person from a super regulator. Just really understanding who the consumer is, because a lot of times when you understand what the ultimate end game is, or the goal for the marketing team, and you understand your consumer base, being creative and getting creative with language to get to that common goal while still being compliant and not getting a warning letter or not getting a lawsuit, and really understanding that level is what's going to really make your career to the next level.
Yeah, I think so. From a marketing perspective, strategy perspective, I think what you're saying resonates. For us specifically, I've always I had this in the notes from something you had said from before, but like, don't say no. Like, I think we all remember back, like, being kids. Like, one of my biggest pet peeves about my childhood was my parents saying no for the sake of no, or at least I thought they did, right? So like, even to this day, it's like nails on the chalkboard for me. I have to admit, I push the bounds a little bit.
He likes a lot of shock and awe in the marketing.
I do. I try to do the shock and awe, but like that whole philosophy of like, no, we're gonna say no for the sake of no. And I don't think that happens all the time. I just think it can happen, especially as we put our heads down and just like get in our work and we're just kind of trying to crank through things. So yeah, the whole no for the sake of no, I'm not a big fan of that. My question, I think I even still have it on my little LinkedIn image, whatever that's called, profile image or whatever, and it's why not, right? I want to ask why not. that's me. Like, well, why not? Why can't I? Why can't we do this? But I think there's a whole lot less of that when regulatory and us team together and really focus on being this cohesive team, and like your best interest, is mine and vice versa. And we really are working and gelling as a team. I think there's a lot to be said about that, because I think then, we're going to trust and really not just listen, but really care about the importance of the position that they have with the company. And I think vice versa there as well. And I think they will then begin to see the advantages for the company from a marketing or strategy perspective. So I love that.
Yeah, and you know what? I also think it's really healthy to push each other. Not in like a very dominant way, but just being able to push each other to think outside the box and get into that state of being a little uncomfortable. So I really love being uncomfortable. So you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And a lot of times people like being comfortable, right? Just getting outside of that and embracing that uncomfortable space is really what's going to take you to the next level and help grow you. So one of the things I always do is always provide recommendations. I would never, ever, ever say no. I would always provide recommendations on how we can have it the way they want it. So that's really what's going to be the key piece. And, again, that healthy dialogue, I don't mind it when someone says, well, why can't we do it?
Right.
I really don't mind that. I love explaining, the different levels of risk, because everything is a risk call, right? What could be the potential risk of XYZ claim? Well, here's the implication. And, sometimes there are heavier implications than others. And that's, all where you need to assess the overall net impression of what you're trying to convey. And if the reasonable customer thinks it's going to be that, then that's what it is. But, there's so many ways that you can mitigate risk by just one word, by an image, and you just got to get creative with it.
Diana, it has been so great talking with you today, especially just hearing about your passion for mentoring and all that you're doing for the dietary supplement industry and all the newcomers coming in. I appreciate what you have said from the regulatory perspective, especially on the levels of risk. We have a fantastic science and regulatory department here,
Yep.
And that's one thing that we are learning to figure out, because we do kind of like to push the creative boundary. And like I said earlier, Andrew loves the shock and awe, and that's been seen in a lot of what Stratum has done in the marketing. And what's been good for us is working through what is that level of risk.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why can we not say that?
Yep.
And it's encouraging to hear from you on that, and how we can actually even be a better team for our science and regulatory department as well.
Agreed. Yeah. So yeah, it's been great talking to you with your experience from your side of things, from a regulatory perspective, and as Jackie clearly stated, we love our regulatory and science department, and this has encouraged us to continue to grow that bond stronger and stronger. So we do appreciate,
especially through that gray landscape of regulatory.
Yes.
That's there.
Yes.
And a great way to strengthen that bond, you guys should do a team building event and go to an escape room or something.
Yes, we could do trust falls.
That would be interesting.
We can't do 6-foot trust falls right now.
No.
So maybe we can't. But I like the escape room idea. So, well, Diana, it's been great having you on.
It has.
Great chatting with you again. Thanks so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You guys too. Be safe and be healthy. Talk soon.
Thank
Okay.
you. Bye,
Bye.
Diana.